These are the new Rolex watches from Watches and Wonders 2024. So like every year, there is a lot of speculation on what watches Rolex will present during Watches and Wonders. And this year it was the same. Everyone was expecting a lot due to the fact probably that the last 2 years were unexpected from Rolex. And this year felt kinda the same because Rolex did the unexpected. They just incrementally made their watches better. They added a couple of dials to the day-date line. They added a new bezel to the GMT. And we have a couple of interesting Daytonas with diamond setting. So I had the chance to go hands-on with the watches during Watches and Wonders, and now let's discover the novelties. First up, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The new 44mm full gold, yellow gold Deepsea. This was very unexpected. I don't think that there is a huge clientele asking for a brick of gold on your wrist. Nevertheless, wearing it was very interesting. Even though the watch is very heavy, it did quite feel comfortable on the wrist, if I may say so. I have a small wrist with 16.5 centimeters in circumference, and weirdly enough, it was actually wearable. I mean, if you look at it from the side, it's very thick, but wearing it on the wrist was not that bad as I expected. Probably there is a group of customers that have been wanting a full gold Deepsea, and I do guess that there are a lot of Rolex wearers with bigger wrists, and this is a watch for them. There are two particularities that I'd like to point out. Besides that the watch has a blue colored dial and a blue bezel, the caseback. It's not an open caseback. In fact, it's a titanium caseback with Rolex's signature RLX titanium. And there's one more thing. The helium escapement valve is also out of titanium. Does this make the watch less heavy? No, it doesn't. However, I found it quite interesting that they used titanium for the caseback and the helium escapement valve, because why not, actually? Let's move on to the probably most popular model and the watch that everyone was speculating about. Was there going to be a new GMT with a Coke bezel? Is there going to be any bezel that we've never seen before? Or are they just going to bring back something from the past? And in fact, it's a little mix of both, I'd say. Last year we saw the Jubilee full gold and bicolor GMT introduced with the black and gray bezel. And now this year we have a black and gray bezel GMT in steel, available in Jubilee and the Oyster bracelet. And I must say, at first glance, I thought this is not going to be a watch that I'd personally care about. I have the Sprite, I have a vintage 1675. Why would I need another GMT? There's always a but. The watch looks so cool. I think there was a nickname for this watch running around the internet, calling it the Bruce Wayne, I guess. And it kinda is. It's super underrated with the black and gray bezel, and it looks cool, to say the least. Very elegant even on the Jubilee. Maybe there's a way for me to get a black and gray bezel and put it onto my Sprite. That would put a lot of people off, but it would look cool. The GMT hand is green like it was in the past, and I do feel that this is a very well executed addition to the GMT lineup, because we used to have a very similar GMT with a black bezel and a green GMT hand, and now it's back. It's just better, and it's more in line with the whole aesthetic. You have the Batman, the Sprite, and the Pepsi. Both Sprite and Pepsi are still there, but we're gonna get into the discontinued models later on. And a very classic, understated GMT with a black and gray bezel. Overall, a very cool addition. Not what I expected, and probably not what a lot of other people expected, but still very cool, and I do strongly believe this is going to be the most popular model of Rolex this year. We have a new 1908. Rolex has decided to add a new model to their last year's introduction, the 1908. This year, we have a 1908 in platinum, same size, same dimensions, everything is very much the same, it didn't change. However, we now have it in platinum and with a very beautiful guilloche ice blue dial. And this is something I feel Rolex is going to continue with, adding a bit more of haute horlogerie into their lineup. A guilloche dial is nothing that you would see in a super commercial piece, but something they have been experimenting for a while. And therefore, I think it's a very, very cool idea to add this guilloche pattern with the ice blue dial and the platinum case into their 1908 lineup. This is something only Rolex can do, and they do it, and they do it very well. So this is probably the watch that I was expecting the most. I wanted to see something more in the 1908 lineup, and I do hope that we will see some complications down the line from Rolex in their new classic model line. And while we're on the topic of classic watches, let's talk about the day-date. There have been a couple of dial additions to the day-date model. We now have a blue, a green, and a black-gray dégradé dial, which basically means that we have a fade from light in the middle to dark on the outside. They look fantastic. Let's just put it like that. The ombre watch was the one that we got to see. Paired with the Everose case, it just looks fantastic. I love this dark gray and light gray color hue. It just looks stunning, super elegant. And this is something that I want to see more of. I want to see more experimentation with dials in the future from Rolex. And I think, especially with last year's puzzle, this is going to continue. There was also a beautiful mother of pearl white gold dated with baguette indices, which looked fantastic. And this again just goes to show that Rolex know how to work with different kinds of materials and that we can expect a lot from them. Even though if this year was just small incremental changes, let's see what next year will bring. Last but not least, now let's talk Daytonas. While on the topic, we have to talk about probably the most popular and most hyped up Daytona model in years, the LeMans. It's officially discontinued. But there is a yellow gold version. It's not going to be a watch that you will be able to just easily get from your AD, but if you are a very, very good customer and if you have very, very good purchasing history, this is maybe a watch that you might be offered. It will be available in yellow gold, and in my opinion, it looks very good. I'll have a picture of it here for you to check out. Let's see how this will evolve. Will it be discontinued next year? Probably, but who knows? Let's talk a little bit about the, well, more attainable Daytonas. They're not really more attainable actually, because the prices of these are, just check them out on the Rolex website yourself. It's nothing that I'd easily be able to buy. However, gem setting with Rolex is amazing, and there are new gem set Rolex Daytonas. The one that I was able to handle was the new Gemset Daytona with the mother of pearl dial and the Tahitian mother of pearl subdials. This model is available on the Oysterflex, and there is another one available in white gold on a bracelet as well. Yeah, you have brilliant cut diamonds on the indices, and you have a bezel full of brilliant cut diamonds as well. Beautiful piece. Funnily enough, it was actually perfectly fit to my wrist. Even the Oysterflex strap or bracelet, whatever you want to call it, was perfectly sized to my wrist. What a coincidence. It looked fantastic. However, I personally prefer baguettes because they are more masculine. Nevertheless, this combination of dark and light mother of pearl dial was very, very intriguing. Looked fantastic, even better in real life than on the pictures. There are in fact a couple of other gem set Rolex Daytonas that have been added to the, I'd say, normal catalog, because they're on the website as well. They feature both in bracelet version and in Oysterflex version, and they feature baguettes. They are very, very nice, but more in line with the pricing of their off-catalog pieces, because you're going to look at over 100K if you want to purchase one of these. But do check them out on their website. I'll have a link down below for you to see. The Oysterflex white gold version was sweet. I really like that. watch. Let's talk discontinuations. Well, the Datejust versions with the wave patterns, somewhat guilloche dials, they have been discontinued. The Yachtmaster II has been discontinued. However, as I already mentioned, GMT Pepsi still here, GMT Sprite still here, and the Oyster Perpetual Celebration, both in 36 and 41, still here. If you're looking to buy one of these pieces, there is still the chance for you. That's it from this year's Rolex novelties from Watches and Wonders 2024. I hope you enjoyed it, and do let me know in the comments down below which one of the novelties is your favorite. I'd honestly like to know. Thank you very much for watching, and there is more content on Watches and Wonders coming. So stick to this channel, do subscribe, and if you want to catch up on a couple of nice pictures that I took during Watches and Wonders, do check out my Instagram because I took a lot of pictures. As always, if you feel like it, put a thumbs up. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.